Okay, this is GFCI protected, but it's not labeled as being GFCI protected. This is the disconnect for the condensing unit. You'll see that video here in just a couple of videos, and maybe the next one. And it's laced up right, and I took a picture, a still image of that. So I did look in here. This is our main shutoff. It is our emergency shutoff, and it is labeled as such. L1 and L2 are properly protected. Okay, the meter tells us that it's 200 amps and 240 volts. Our disconnect switch tells us that it's 200 amps. We've got aluminum to copper. We got antioxidant paste on our aluminum cables. If we look through here, we can see that we do not have any fire caulk between this and the electric load center breaker box. Call it what you will. It might not be required in residential. I know that it is required in multi-housing, so it is required, but for single family residential it might not be required. I don't remember reading that. I'll ask somebody sometime. Next continuing education class, next week I'll ask somebody or something. Inside of here, okay, the home faces north for the purpose of this inspection. So this would be the east, that was on the east exterior wall. This is the east interior wall. This is our main load center. This is our continuous ground, our bonding location. We misspelled it, didn't we? U-F-E-R, oofer. Okay, but there's our oofer rod, and there's our connection. Coming inside of here, L1 and L2. Maybe one day these will be required to be covered like the other ones, but today they're not. We got a whole house surge protector, nice circuit break. GFCI is where we're supposed to have them. AFCI is where we're supposed to have them. We've got just a little bit of paint up here inside of the cabinet, and I'll write it up, but I'm usually happy if it's off of the bus bar, you know. I'm not supposed to have flammable materials inside of the cabinet. Okay. I'm not supposed to have a gap larger than 1/8 of an inch around the cabinet. Everything looks like it's labeled pretty nice. This is pretty uneventful for electric load center for what I do. So what do we find? We're missing a little fire caulk that we could argue about. We've got a little paint up here that we could argue about. Now this is pretty real, but these gaps between the cabinet, okay, because this cover, if you'll see this cover, see this scoring, this cover is sitting right on top of the drywall. This cover is supposed to be on top of the box. Some people call them a can, right on top of the enclosure. Okay. I'm gonna come over here. So if this thing, you see it's not molested, you see how it's sitting on top of this. So if this melts down, there's nothing to keep the fire from coming out into your wall and going up the paper behind the paint on the drywall, going into your attic. That's why that rule's there. Okay.